Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, another edition of Everything Football. I'm your host, Jonathan Big Tex Johnson. Been a couple of weeks. And like I said, I'm not going to come on in just blabbing about certain things. I'm going to try to talk about something that's, because it's not nothing that really been that relevant. Something I am going to talk about next segment. But this is something, because I told you last time I did this thing on these Hall of Famers, definitely specifically Chuck Howley of the Dallas Cowboys, and also said something about Jason Witten and Antonio Gates about the Hall of Fame. And I'm going to be doing a few Hall of Fame series things going on here, just to let people know that a part of me thinks, okay, the Hall of Fame, like I said, for like the great players, some of the greatest players in the 98 year or the 95, 96, 97 year of the NFL, getting close to 100. One of the things that I want to talk about today is, and this was after doing some research from a couple of years ago. I was looking around and I was just like, how is it that John Riggins got into the Pro Football Hall of Fame? And I started searching around, and this was a few years ago, and I said, oh, okay, I get it. And rightfully so. Rightfully so that he belongs in there. As much as I despise the Redskins, and I've been in this area since '87, like I told y'all, you guys already know I'm a staunch Cowboys fan. But you got to give credit where credit is due. And Riggins was your typical power back. But you could also see where, with my football knowledge that I do have, why I sit up there and was even asking that at first. And then somebody came back and asked me this question. We were just chit-chatting. And the question, well, how did he actually get into the Hall of Fame? And I'm like, well, and I explained to him, I was basically, look, Riggins, I said, dude, it's the same thing I said. So you looked up, so you go about, and this is one of the great things about today's technology, you're able to go look up these guys' stats. Back 25, 30 years ago, you couldn't look at these guys' stats. You'd have to follow them, they had to get all types of magazines and this, that, and the third to try to follow all this stuff. So what I eventually ended up doing was, I explained to him, I said, dude, look, this is how I was done with Mr. Riggins and whatnot. First and foremost, Riggins got drafted in 1971, goes to the Jets. That's Joe Willie Namath's team, as we all know about Joe Namath. It wasn't until his fifth year in the league that Riggins actually rushed for 1,000 yards. First time he rushed for 1,000 yards in his fifth year in the league. At age 26, 1,005 yards with eight touchdowns at a 4.2 average. Jets wasn't paying him no money, and he had to go ahead and leave. Just check out his football life piece that they did on him. So in 76, he goes to the Skins, right? Now, mind you, like I said, it took 5 years. So it's really nothing spectacular that he really did the Jets. I mean, he was the only back that they had, so he didn't do anything that spectacular. Go to 76, no 1,000 yards. Go to 77, hurt, basically missing the like 10 or 11, like 9 or 10 games. About 9 games, I think he probably missed. Go to 78, he rushed for 1,014 yards, 5 touchdowns, 4.1 yard average, 4.1 yard average. Now he's under George Allen, right? And he was basically using the blocking back for the most part. 79 at age 30, he runs for 1,153 yards, 9 touchdowns. That's his most productive year. Now, mind you, being in a passing offense with Joe Namath over there at the New York Jets, he didn't do a lot. He didn't have to do a lot. He played in the violent sport, but at the same time, he didn't have to do a whole hell of a lot, right? So technically, his body is not taking the punishment. You're talking about 180 carries, 200 carries, 207 carries, 134 carries, 169 carries, and it's not, then it gets to 238 carries at the age of 26 for the Jets. That's the first time they get him up, but they send him on his way. Go to the Skins, 162 carries. 77, hurt, 68 carries. Then he starts 248 carries in 1978 at age 29. Age 30, 260 carries, and like I said, that was his best year at that time as a pro, 1,153 yards. Okay? 81, he retired in 1980. So he didn't play football at all in 1980 at age 31. Comes back age 32, like he said, the thing he said, broke, bored. He was broken bored, so he came back, right? So typical Riggins thing and stuff, like, which is like he's one of those type of characters that you just gotta love, right? So he comes back age 32, right? It comes back in 1981, 32 years old. For 195 carries, 714 yards, 13 touchdowns. I said this is where the legend of John Riggins starts right here. 81. He scores 13 touchdowns. This is in 1981. Okay, scores 13 touchdowns. Right, only have a 3.7 but 3.7 per carry, but he scored 13 touchdowns at age 32. 33, 82. This is the year that they won the Super Bowl. This is the year. This is the time when Riggins made his. This is when he did his, as I always say, his Paul Bunyan moment, his John Henry moment, right? And mind you, Riggins in a 14-year career, right? His teams only went to the playoffs 4 times. He was only in 4 times. He played in 9 playoff games. Riggins, at the age of 33 in 1982, he rushed for 610 yards in 4 games. He told Joe Bugle, I believe, and Joe Gibbs, just give me the ball. Get on my back, just give me the ball. 610 yards that he actually rushed for in those 4 games with that mythical run that he made, shrugging off I think Don Williams, whatever the guy's name was, the cornerback that came up and just, we should have took him low. He might have had more success, but he didn't. Riggins just ran him over. Riggins in 1982, first game against Detroit, wild card game, 25 carries, 119 yards. He goes against the Vikings, 37 carries, 185 yards in the divisional round. Cowboys, NFC East game, 36 carries, 140 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now, he had a touchdown against the Vikes. Dolphins, 38 carries, 166 yards, and that touchdown that he made on that 4th and one where he breaks that run. Phenomenal. I mean, that is what cemented him right there, right, for the most part. That's like, okay, Riggins is up in there. The next year, and they end up with a Super Bowl ring and everything in that particular year, right? And again, like I said, so what he ended up doing, and again, like I said, when you go back, right, in the box score, and like I said, 38 carries, 166 yards, that's when the Hogs was at their best. That's when the Hogs was at their best. Just get behind him, a 230, 235-pound back. He's giving you he's giving defensive bit. You know what's coming. There's no surprises. You know what's coming. And like I said, at this particular point in time, when you look at this man at this time, at that particular age, this man is 33 years old, right? Come back to 1983. 83. Riggins, 1347, only 3.6 yards per carry, 24 touchdowns. They go against the Raiders, and they end up losing. He has so the 83 season. So you go. Let's just go back. Go to the Rams. Wild card game, 25 carries, 119 yards, 3 touchdowns. 49ers, 36 carries, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now again, let me before I jump back on over there, go back to 82. So he finished up 136 carries, 610 yards, 3 touchdowns, 4.5. That's something that's never been done. Now I'm gonna do this for you real quick, like Jim Brown in 4 games, 241 yards. This is in playoff games and championship games. 4 games, 241 yards. Walter Payton, 632 yards, 632 yards, right? Eric Dixon, 724 yards in 5 games, right? Walter Payton had like 6 games, or what? If I'm not mistaken, 6 games, 9 touchdowns in 6 games. Emmitt Smith, one of the greatest of all time, 1,586 yards. Emmitt Smith played in 17 playoff games. Jerome Bettis, 674 yards and 647 yards and 7 started in those particular years. Earl Campbell, 420 yards, 6 games. Franco Harris, 1,556, 19 games. Tony Dorsett, 1,383 yards, 17 games. Thurman Thomas, 19 games started, 1,442 yards. Like I said, Riggins, 610 yards. And now you go and check out his stats, right? He has 996 yards in 9 games. Almost 1,000 yards, which means he was almost averaging 100 yards a game. right? He did 9. He's 4.0. He's averaging 110.7 a game. That's what got Riggins in there. Jumped to 83 at age 34. 25 carries against the Rams, 119 yards, 3 touchdowns. 36 carries against the 49ers, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns. Raiders, only 26 carries, 64 yards, 1 touchdown, 87-306. So like I said, in all of these games, he made his bones there. And he's doing this at the age in his early to mid 30s. He's doing this at age 33, 34, and then you go to 1984, 35. They end up losing. He only had 21 carries, 50 yards, but he had 2 touchdowns. So he come up with 12 touchdowns in the last 2 years. You talk about 80, 82, 83, 84, right? That's like I said, 12 touchdowns. So that's why John Riggins is in there. He's in there. Used to drink with his linemen. He hung out with his linemen. That's what he did. That's why Riggins, one-time All-Pro, one-time Pro Bowler. That's it. Now, anybody else, now you look at his stats. Riggins basically 3.8, 3.9. That's his career thing. Finished with 11,352 yards and a 14-year career. That's what Riggins did. But it was the playoff run that put him in there. Even if you look at somebody like Franco Harris, playoff run. Emmett did what he did in the regular season. Nice playoff run. But it's like nobody to this date has rushed for 610 yards in a 4-game playoffs, in 4-game playoffs. Riggins has that record, and he hit that at 33. That's why Riggins in the Hall of Fame. If it didn't have that, Riggins wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. But he got a ring, went to back-to-back Super Bowls, got a ring, and he made that run. He made that run. That's why John Riggins is in the Hall of Fame. Right? That's the reason why he's in the Hall. And you can't take that away from him. I can't stand the skins, but from a football perspective, he's one of the best power backs to ever play. And guys didn't want none of that 6'2", 230, 235 pounds at all. Nobody wanted any of that. He's a power runner. If the ball got on the 5, 10-yard line, you just fed him the ball. He's going to get that. 70 chip, that's so funny. I'm going to work the other day. Dude has a license plate called 70 chip. Funny. But skins, they crazy about their football here. That's why John Riggins is in the Hall of Fame. That's the main reason why he's in the Hall. That is the main reason. And he got in there on the second try. Technically, like I said, but see, I will go back and talk about the voting process of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but this is what I'm talking about. Like Riggins, rightfully so. After what he did is no back has done what he did in his 30s. No back. Up until this point, up until 2018, no back has done what this man has done. So he's a legend. He deserves that gold jacket. He got the gold jacket, and that's it. Based on what he did in the playoffs. I'm gonna come back. I got something else to talk to you guys about as well.